Lenahan?
Here. Mrs. Eichhorn?
Here.
Mr. Gemperlein?
Here.
And we're going to move to approve Resolution 19062001, which is amending Resolution 19061901.
And the amendment is,
Some changes were recommended by staff and others. What I have here is not the final that I saw last, but this hasn't been, I know that you
No,
had-
this is what was approved with
Oh,
the
gotcha.
resolution.
So here's the new one. All right. We're just moving to approve this as the newsletter.
So instead of calling it a mailer, you're changing it to a newsletter.
Yes, that was recommended by staff to me, which I think is a great idea. That's essentially what it is.
No, it's not, but
So it also adds some different things that are going on. And has the road schedule, the repair schedule, and the phone numbers of department heads, has EMS billing, and then it refers residents to our website for additional newsletter information.
I think it was quite obvious at our last special meeting what the purpose of this is. It is not a newsletter, no matter how many smoke and mirrors we build around it. They're based on the previous drafts, and especially the ones that you author, Trustee Lenahan. This has nothing to do with getting newsletter out to the residents. And so unless you're going to explain in this so-called newsletter, the email from you to Administrator Fromer on December 4th, 2018, where you outlined your plan and intent to dismantle our Liberty Township Fire-based EMS, you'll be publishing a falsehood with taxpayer dollars for the obvious purpose of creating evidence in defense of your potential removal hearing. And to that extent that you have directed any of our staff to aid you in this process, you are exposing them to potential legal jeopardy. And if our fiscal officer was here, I would ask her if she's okay with the legality of this expenditure.
Okay, I'm fine with this. Do you have any comment? Or do you want me to take the vote?
say again what you just said.
Sure. Unless you can explain in the so-called newsletter, that's really a mailer, that this December 4th, 2018, from Trustee Lenahan to Administrator Fromer, where she outlines her plan and intent to dismantle our Liberty Township fire-based EMS, you will be publishing a falsehood with taxpayer dollars for the obvious purpose of creating evidence in defense of your potential removal hearing. And to the extent that you have directed any of our staff to aid you in this process, you are exposing them to potential legal jeopardy.
Okay, Melanie Lenahan is not dictator of the township board. There's three of us. What her intent is her intent. That doesn't mean it's gonna go that way.
Well, when there is a chairman saying, and I will read, I, for one, feel more convinced that Liberty Township will be much better off and much safer with Delaware County EMS. I would like to start by hiring your medical director as of January 1st. I will speak with our chief about that. My next step would be to test Delaware County EMS and ask for a 3-man medic at either station to take the place of our medic. And I would like to have a meeting with you and Chief Schuling and Chief O'Brien next week if possible. She further goes on to say, I would ask that we prepare a transition plan for a test and a complete implementation.
Okay,
You're
that's,
done on motion.
pardon?
Are you ready to vote, or do you want to discuss it any further? Or do you have any feedback about the letter?
Let me see what you've got, because I don't know it's the latest that I've got.
I have this as page 1.
Okay,
The proposal to the county is page 2 and possibly into 3.
because I've seen this.
I have the road paving and a
Okay.
letter telling them they'll get notified. This is information, contact
know.
information,
I saw that.
and EMS soft billing. On the
Do
front.
you answer any of her questions? Is that inappropriate for me to ask?
Who
We're
are
not
you
taking public
speaking to?
we're not taking public comment, and it's not questions. It's just a very solid statement with backed with documents.
No, I've looked this over. I'm okay with this.
All right, can we take the vote?
When was this finalized? This latest draft?
About an hour ago.
And was any other trustee input put into this?
Mr. Gimperlines.
Thank you. Okay.
You made a statement, have you looked this over?
Well, I just got it handed to me while I was walking in, and this is like the 5th version. So I was able to scan it over, and I see the bulk of what was in it from the original mailer that was created by Trustee Lanahan is the bulk of it, and then I see the additional information that was put in.
There's some rewording in there that I know that I had some input in.
Great.
You made a statement that there's half-truths. Do you see half-truths in this?
I do.
Would you give us the other half?
Let me just read again this statement.
Okay.
Are you gonna read the same thing you just read twice?
You don't
Yeah,
need to-
so if you don't need me to read it
I don't-
again,
I was
well, no,
gonna
there'll
say-
be a time then we can go over those and we'll have the documents. I've made it very clear how I feel about this, that we're wasting $10,000 of our residents to build a defense for the two of you. It's not necessary at all to send this document out, so.
Okay, there's a lot of misunderstanding as to what's happened over the months regarding EMS. This is to try to give some assurance to people that our EMS is solid, and there really have been pretty much no changes.
Well, not really, Mike, when you Trustee Gepperling, when you're reading that, I don't think that's exactly what all you're saying, and still lies in here is half sentences and half truths. I mean, even when you have in bold letters, Liberty Township trustee has never passed a resolution to replace Township Fire-Based EMS. No, but you had it on the agenda. So I again, that's kind of not really giving the whole, and I certainly didn't put it on the agenda. Did you put it on the agenda?
No.
Okay, well, one of us did, so that leaves Trustee Lanahan, who put it on there. And so that, to
Was
me,
that
isn't telling the whole story.
Was that discussed, was that resolution ever discussed?
Was it on the agenda?
Yes.
Was it created?
Yes.
It wasn't created by me.
Was it
Was
ever-
it on the agenda?
Was it
Did
ever-
our men know, did our firemen know that it was in there? Just because you put it on there and then you tabled it, I don't see any of that here. What I see in big bold letters says never and replace. It's misleading, but you will have a time, I'm sure, to be able to defend this, so you can defend it then. I just wish that our fiscal officer was here so she could go on the record saying whether she feels she's comfortable with the legality of this expenditure.
What'd the prosecutor's office say, Mike?
Prosecutor's office didn't want to give an opinion on it based upon the fact that the trustees already had taken action on that resolution.
Mm-hmm.
He gave some advice that it was very generalized and said that in fact there was a section of 9.03 of the revised code that could create issues later on with the information that's contained within it, specifically for the defense or potential defense of a trustee.
Okay, in my perspective, this has nothing to do with any defense. It has to do with misinformation that I think many people have. And this is to try to give them some assurance that we're not changing, not bringing Delaware County in.
Well, I think $10,000 to have that message when they've always had the belief in the Township Fire-Based EMS. It was never them that was lacking the belief in them. And I guess, are you comfortable with the legality of this expenditure?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with the expenditure. There are things within the document that I would be more comfortable taking out. However, this is up to the board's decision on whether or not this goes out.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
All right, can we take a vote?
Mrs. Lenihan?
Yes,
Mr. Gimperline?
Yes.
Mrs. Icorn?
Absolutely not.
and I'll move to adjourn.
Do you have time for the press? Do you have time for the press?
I don't.
Oh, well, you're the one I'm looking at.
I have a minute, but you need it.
What's the rush on this? I mean, it's just a newsletter, right?
So the rush is because we have a lot to move on to. We have some economic development issues where we need to fix. If you look at our administrator's office, he's interested in branding and marketing.
Yeah, I'm just saying, just double check with it
So we can have the economic
when I
development.
called it to his
It's not a
attention,
rush,
I said
it's
that
been
it
going
was
on
a-
since
I
October.
I understand that, but you
So,
guys have a
the
meeting
other
on
thing
July
is, I
first.
have had
If you
people
check
ask
the road
me
department and
for 3, 4,
It's 'cause
5
to send
months
out
to please send out a
something that's
newsletter. Please let people know
Okay.
what's going on. And what I told him is that until it's finished, I didn't want to waste money. Let's just wait until it's completed, the whole process, and then they can know it's completed, here's the result. Makes sense, it's
Yeah.
very timely.
You guys passed one yesterday, but then went back and did, why didn't you just wait until you got more input from the staff? Or to come up with this newsletter instead?
Well, actually, I spent hours with staff yesterday. We thought we were good, and then it was recommended that we put some more stuff, more information, since the cost really is, it's a nominal difference to put more in.
It might be a little bit.
That's just, yeah, that's just like a little picture I was dragging when I was over Katie's brother. Running along Jay Ice Cream. But like, I was like, is he gonna like jump out of the thinking about just how you always have that level of stress with the kids are little.
Finally at that age, where semi-self-sufficient. Don't worry about them sticking their finger in all that.
If they do, they'll learn it for
That's the best.
Wish for that. There's people that have
They say that So you drive them a little crazy in their teens and they'll be out the park.
Okay, my phone says it's 7 o'clock, so we're going to start the special meeting. If we could stand and say pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.